Hey guys, I'm actually out on a walk right now with my dog. I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but I felt like spontaneously recording something that I feel is significant on this path. When we are born into this world as humans to human parents, and this is a lot about the inner child right now. So our inner child in this human experience will experience a chronic sense of disappointment and pain with the human parents. Why is that? When we come into this world as babies, we go through this veil of forgetfulness. Of course, the divine is always within. The divine is within everything, within everyone. But when we come here into this world, we go through this veil of forgetfulness. And just then we experienced ourselves as one with God, and now we are in this human form, this vessel. So ultimately that leads to a sense of separation, like I am separate now from God because I perceive myself as this separate entity, this human here on earth. So what happens now, where does this pain and disappointment come from, is that the child, our inner child, looks to replicate the unconditional love and the oneness with the Divine Mother that it knows so well. It projects that onto the biological parents. So what is the closest to the child in us that could replicate God's love? It's the parents, of course. But who are the parents? The parents are human beings, fallible human beings with trauma, conditioning, unintegrated pain themselves. So the child in us is basically looking for something within someone where it can't be found. It's like, okay, of course, the love of God is within our parents, of course, but it's the confusion in the child that, oh my God, I've just been one with this unconditional divine love from the Divine Mother. Now I'm a child to these humans. You see what I mean? It's the confusion and the pain that our inner child constantly lives in. And so for children, maybe that applies to a lot amongst you. When we are children who are very connected to God, to this divine love, the relationship with our parents can actually turn into something very painful, frustrating and confusing. And at times the child in us can experience a sense of wrongness, emptiness in this connection, or even a starvation. Why? Because, like I said earlier, it's ultimately not finding what it actually longs for. Maybe you remember that when you were a child, there was a longing within you for home, for God. you were confused about this sense of separation. And then the closest thing you would look for that feeling, because you don't know anything else at the time, would be the parents. But it can't be found in the parents. That's why to many of us on the path, the parental connection even feels a bit like a starvation. It's like we're starving because they're just these fallible human beings, you know. So what happens when we awaken is, and that's very, very beautiful, is this dilemma that I just described ultimately ends. Because awakening means finding our way back home to the divine within us. It's like awakening is we're walking ourselves back home to God, that actually we find within ourselves. Therefore we're not looking for it anywhere else outside of us. So let's call it the parental child dilemma ends when we awaken. And what you can do is just become aware, even post-awakening. Are there still parts in us alive that carry an expectation for our parents to fulfill and replicate this love? You know, let's say you speak with your mother or father, or you're in touch with them, and it leaves you with a sense of disappointment, frustration, or even pain. Then we can ask ourselves, is there still a part within me alive that expects something of this connection that it ultimately can't give? Expects something from these people that they ultimately can't provide, almost. And if that is the case, if you find a part within yourself that still carries that expectation, then that is a radical invitation to orient with the one and only lasting true love in our lives, so to speak, with the only source of unconditional love, to orient with the divine. It's almost like a little test whenever we find that expectation, and it's all coming from the inner child. Like, who carries these expectations? It's the inner child. Then we know, oh, okay, I need to reorient myself with God more. Okay guys, I hope that was helpful to you, maybe to everyone who is very much in touch with their inner child at the moment, and I'm sending you a lot of love from the Green Island, and yeah, see you soon. Namaste.